Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back. And the Detroit Pistons will interview TNT analyst, former Houston Rocket, two-time NBA championship point guard, TV analyst Kenny the Jet Smith. You might know Kenny the Jet Smith from TNT with Charles Barkley and Shaq. And he recently interviewed for his hometown team, the New York Knicks. Didn't get it. David Fizdale, former Memphis coach and Miami Heat assistant, slid into the New York Knicks job. And God bless his soul, dealing with a lame duck coach, a lame duck owner like, their owner, James Dolan. So, Kenny is making another round. He's coming to Detroit to interview for the Pistons job. And it seemed to be a job nobody really wants. I've been tracking it. We've been doing videos. I've been reading articles. And, Shane Battier pulled out. Tayshaun Prince is being in consideration for the GM job. They're hiring, Bickerstaff to help with the hiring search. They hire extra people, special advisors and agencies to get people to be interested in this job. And nobody wants a job. This is a job that nobody wants. I can't stress that even, enough. I've read the articles. I've seen all the news droppings and stuff of that. And nobody wants this job. And it's just as plain and simple as that. You got guys withdrawing, guys don't want it. And when you can't control a roster, you are forced to keep Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, and Andre Drummond and forced to win with that. I think most people just going to keep doing what they want to do. Guys like Chauncey happy on ESPN, guys like Shane Battier happy with his role in the Miami Heat front office. Why change a good thing? Why leave Miami, a beautiful city, to come to Detroit and get the short end of the stick and not really have a real shot and have creative control over a roster? And I think most guys are looking like that. And them hiring a coach, or consider interviewing coaches without a basketball president of operations and general manager, a little bit tired. But without, having somebody in charge and hiring a head coach before you hire a president of basketball operations, that's not good either. Now you forcing the basketball operations guy to have a candidate that he didn't hand pick, and it just shows you how distraught and disoriented and unorganized the Detroit Pistons organization is. They definitely got a guy in Tom Gores that don't know nothing about nothing, man. He don't know nothing about the NBA, nothing about hiring. But to the Kenny Jet Smith thing, he has no coaching experience. He can go to the big board and run to the big board and put X's and O's on the board. But can he coach? Can he deal with the 82 game grind season and coaching these guys? Can he develop young talent? What is his views on basketball? What offense he gonna run? What defense? What is the intensity? What is his game plan? What is his blueprint? What is he gonna bring to the table? How is he gonna, how is he going to gain ground on the learning curve of being an NBA coach? What qualifies him to be an NBA coach? Why does he want to be an NBA coach? Does he believe in developing young talent? Or do he believe, the best player play? And what is his, and if he's stuck with this roster, what is this, what does he foresee out this roster? How is he going to get the best out of Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, and the rest of this team? Is all questions that got to be known in an interview, And, if the going gets tough, will you quit? Will you resign? Will you, or are you in it for the long haul because, this Piston team is going to be a project. It's going to take time, and are you willing to deal with the lame duck owner and Tom Gores? Obviously, he's willing to go to New York and work for James Dolan, so it really ain't no huge difference between that James Dolan and the lame duck in Detroit and Tom Gores. So, are you ready to continue to lose, for a few seasons? Because this roster not going to run right now. And if I'm Kenny the Jet Smith, I got questions to ask, too. I'm going to need a more lengthier contract. I'm going to need some security because this roster ain't it. It's questions I ask if I was him, too, man. This is not an attractive job. Especially if you can't trade and mold this job, especially if you don't have a president of operations, man, basketball operations. It's a tough job for anybody to take, top or bottom. But we'll see, how it shapes out. Obviously, it seems like Dwayne Casey might not want the job, and for Dwayne Casey, opportunities might not come so often, but I bet he's willing for a college job to show up or NBA job, any job with the Pistons, because when you came from Toronto and you built those younger players up to get them to that point, I don't think he want to do it all over again and come to Detroit where there's really no job security. And it's really, you can't be creative. The GM, he ain't there because they ain't hired one, and it's a lot of uncertainty in the organization. So obviously, Kenny Jet Smith is just gonna listen It don't mean that 100% that he wants the job, but obviously he's trying to get into coaching for whatever reason. I thought he had a nice gig in TNT, for so many years, but I guess he's probably tired of doing that. And maybe he want to try his hand at coaching. You can always come back to TNT because probably coaching pays a lot better than on TNT. But I thought they loved their gig there. But, maybe it's time to move on for him and try different endeavors in the sport of basketball, But I don't know his philosophy on being a coach, and I don't know if I would want Kenny J. Smith as the head coach in Detroit. I don't think, like the same reason I said about Becky Hammon. I don't think this is an ideal first coaching job for new coaches. I just think this is something for a guy that's been through the ringer and that's been through, terrible experiences and bad teams before. But let me know what y'all think about Kenny J. Smith being interviewed and potentially being Detroit Pistons head coach. Motor City Sports Talk, we gone.